I'm dearest, 23. You're joining me for Titanic, episode 8. Adele! Charlie and I have arrived on the private promenade, where Helene, unaware of her opponent's true nature, plays cards with James. He has obviously arranged all of this as a show for me. He's watching me amuse my reaction, but I don't know why we're all here. Mateo refuses to meet my eyes. Panic claws at my chest as I stand there, speechless. Are you alright? You look like a little gray in the face. Oh dear, are we seasick? Are you alright, Helene? Never mind me, what about you? Has everything been normal? Normal? Why wouldn't it be normal? Yes, Adele, what's all the fuss about? James, don't draw it out. Wait, you're James? The blackmailer James? You told me— oh god, you're calling him blackmailer James? Helene recoils from the table when she realizes just who she's been sitting with. Sorry, Adele. He didn't say who he was. He said he was helping you, and since Mateo said it was true, I thought— it's alright. You didn't know. I glare at Mateo, but his face remains expressionless, cold. James just laughs slightly. Alas, the game is over, but I suppose the adults have some business. Helene, run along. My sister's eyes flash with anger, but she holds her tongue and looks to me for a signal to stay or go. She's grown up so much on this voyage, but she's still so young. I must decide whether to go on protecting her or let her prove maturity by allowing her to stay and learn the extent of James's threats. Don't worry, I'll take care of this. Go back to Mrs. Rohana and get something to eat, Habidi. He's not to be trusted. We'll both be safer if you're back in your cabin. Fine, but watch him. Watch both of them. I take her hands in mine for a moment and let go. Please, sit. I take a seat across from the two men. Charlie stands behind me, scowling at James. We agreed that you would perform a simple task. I hear she didn't agree to anything. Blackmail is kind of an agreement, and you, Adele, is falling behind on terms. Let him talk. I look James in the eye and wait. There's no point in explaining myself until he forces me to. That's Mateo and sends approval in his gaze. You're in a dangerous position, Miss Karam. You were to give me information on my aunt, to not find creative ways to visit your sister. Do I need to remind you that your freedom and future depend on it? Helping me helps Helene. Remember that. You split us up, James. I wouldn't have to sneak anywhere if we were bunked together from the start. Don't try to make me feel guilty. Now see here. We'll see nothing from you, Charles Stoke. Charles' eyes go wide when James uses his full name. Adele's little steward, following her about like an overgrown poodle. Oh yes, I know all about you. What did she promise you, Charlie? She's a liar, you know, a very good one. Who am I? And who Adele is to me is none of your business. Oh, she's seducing you. She doesn't want your companionship, she just wants passage down the steerage to see her little sister. Not true. How dare you, Charlie? How dare you? Charlie offered his aid as a steward. I didn't lure him into this. No, your heart is so very pure. Dale comes to laugh with a sort of cough. I see a smirk cross his face. James appears to have seen it too. What are you smiling about, Mateo? If anything, you're worse. You've been distracted lately, and by what a pretty face. It's beneath you, really. His expression goes cold and remote. He doesn't flinch. You serve me, do you? Remember that. You've made a start, but you haven't redeemed yourself for these dalliances yet. Matteo's been loyal to you. He knows who he serves. Stop talking to him like a misbehaving pet. I pay him. I can speak to him how I like. His duty is to me. Especially at this crucial time. You have 2 days until Zeta's birthday, and there will be repercussions if you don't meet the deadline. Your little adventures in steerage have to be punished. But if you found anything on my aunt, I might be convinced to be merciful. Little adventures in steerage. He's only accounting for my trips to see Helene. He doesn't know I told Seti about his plan. But what have I learned that I could tell him? There's her missing year, about when James would have been born. More than one person has hinted that her engagement is merely a career move. And then there's the Baron's shenanigans. Prove to me that you're at least trying. Make it good. This one's tough. Refuse him, share clues. I'm gonna refuse him. I fold my arms, daring James to push for more information. His face becomes a mask of fury. Nothing. You see my aunt every day, and you know nothing that could put a stop to her marriage. Are you quite dull, or wait? You're under her spell. I've seen it now. I've seen it before. She draws them in. They can't say a word against her. I know for one fact she cares for you. It's true. I spent time with your aunt, and what I can see, I see genuine care for her nephew. So she has, then. She's bewitched you. This has nothing to do with me, James. I'm telling you that your family loves you. Doesn't that matter to you at all? Now, you don't know anything. A bitter look crosses James's face. He seems to look everywhere but me. For a moment, he straightens, returns to his high manner, and this time with his eye on Charlie. Mr. Stoke, you know all of about these feminine tricks. You've suffered them more than any of us. Look at you, chasing a double-dealing woman when you could be making an honest living. Tell you what, I'll help you free yourself from her grip. If you stop aiding Adele, I'll pay you a year's salary. I can feel my blood rising. I look up at Charlie, who's looking at James, shocked. It's insulting of you to even ask. James bangs his fist on the table, wearing a manic grin. Oh, even with money you can't get everything. Come now. You'd give up a year's salary for this woman. She's using you. I'll never abandon Adele. Not for money and not for you. Tell Charlie to stay calm. He looks pretty calm, let alone he's acted pretty calm so far. My heart melts. My eyes meet Charlie's for a moment, and I feel a certain understanding pass between us. He turns back to James, who's shaking his head. You're a fool. You're a fool and you're weak, Charlie Stoke. Money doesn't move me, sir. I follow my principles, and I won't turn my back on Adele and Helene. Well, I'm sure your superiors at the White Star Line would be interested to know about your little badge of honor. You've already been violating ship policies by letting a passenger travel between classes, and who knows what else might surface, particularly if I slip some money to your fellow stewards. Such sacrifice, your job for a woman. Does that move you, Mr. Stoke? Charlie's face twists with barely controlled rage, his brow knitting together. He swallows. Go ahead. I'm not afraid of you. Does this make you feel big? Congratulations, James. You've undercut a day laborer. Do you feel victorious? Not quite. James leans over the table close enough that I can smell sweat forming under his expensive cologne. Mateo remains still but watchful. Adele, I will not guarantee you won't see Helene after today. Not until you're in New York. I push backward, trying to get away from my heart sinks. Consider your family's over. Your mother's dead, your father's dead, and now, until you deliver, you'll be dead to Helene. This cruelty is so profound I can barely think to respond. If you're quite finished, that's a horrid thing to say, and I will hear no more of it. Well then, enjoy the view while you can. Mateo, when you're done with your servant kin, Come find me. And without a backward glance, he strides out of the promenade. The sun is setting. The cards lie abandoned on the table. I stand and find I am breathing as if I've just run a great distance. Adele, are you all right? The question is, are you all right? I've suffered his threats before. I'm more worried about you. Do you think James could get you fired? Don't worry about me. I've had better jobs and worse jobs. I'll be fine. You'll deserve what you get in any case. Men of station should know better. You mean I should give in, like you? That is not what I implied. Somebody told James that Adele was visiting Helene. That's what started all this. Besides me, you're the only one who knew. I don't think you'd betray Adele, but you're not just James' valet, are you? You're his accomplice. Deo's jaw clenches. He stands and looks for a moment as if he will respond, but instead blows out a breath and stares at the floor. Is it true, Matteo? You told James that I was sneaking down the steerage. His silence tells me all that I need to know. Deo looks up at me, his hazel eyes solemn and stubborn. James asked me if I had seen you. It was not in my best interest to lie, so yes, I told him. But you knew he would retaliate tenfold. I don't know where you got the impression that I owe you anything. James is volatile, as you all well know, and you don't want to see what he's like when I'm not close by his side. Stoke, you'd be wise to keep your head down and avoid Adele altogether. None of this against my principles nonsense, it's not worth it. And Adele, now that you see that you must cooperate with James, not pull against him, you can't win. Winning isn't everything, and I don't care. I refuse to let James make me into a coward. Trust me, it is better to live on your knees than die on your feet. That's the talk of a man who doesn't care about anything but his own survival. Listen, Matteo, the stakes are higher now that James has his eye on Helene. We have to push back. He speaks, Charlie inches towards Matteo, who isn't yielding any ground. Treading cautiously isn't backing down, it's survival. Matteo looks down at Charlie, who braces his solid frame. How can you survive if you don't fight? Even if it were a fight, no one asked you to take up arms, Stoke. You're British, think you're the center of the universe. Yes, Brits are proud, and that's why Adele, a prouder Londoner, needs to stand up to James, and Adele isn't a Londoner, she's a Lebanese. She wasn't born with the same productions you proud Londoners are. Stop it, both of you. Quit the squabbling. What I do is my own decision, and neither of you who knows anything that about what it's like to be me is not forward to make space between them. Right. Well, she doesn't need some wolf in the sheepskin telling her what's what. She can make up her own mind. I know that, which is why I'm offering her my opinions rather than this foolish bluster. Your opinions just put Helene in James's hands, so tell me again how you're out looking out for Adele. They are now chest to chest. The color has risen in James's face and neck. Matteo's jaw is working. Don't test me. I will react, and I will defeat you. Stop it. That's enough. Take a deep breath, both of you. Or better yet, stick your heads in the sea. I can't hear myself think. Neither of you was thinking at all. What do you want to do, kill each other? Let Matteo and Charlie go quiet, breathing heavily, each waiting for the other to look away. Matteo breaks first, making his way towards the exit with crisp steps, leaving the spicy scent of his pomade in his wake. Charlie clears his throat, nods once, and strides down the promenade. They both look fit to explode. That rush that followed me from the boiler room has slowed. I take stock of what has happened and gaze towards the sea. The waves are gentle during the phase of twilight, glinting in the last of the sun. Perhaps that was the worst of it, I think. Perhaps things will be calmer now. After a moment, I gather myself and leave the breezy promenade. As I smooth my skirts, I try not to lose myself in worry for Helene. As I turn toward a quarter, I'm met by a young steward who tells me he's been sent by Mr. James Esler to escort me to third class. I'm to see my sister, he tells me, which means James is allowing Helene and me to say goodbye. As I follow the steward towards the lift, I wonder, is this a kindness or a twist of the knife? Helene and I sit on her lumpy bed in third class. The Rohanas are out. In the cabin adjacent, we can hear an accordion playing a mournful tune. Helene's face is drawn, her eyes on her hands as they lie in her lap. I've told her everything that's happened after she left. James's demand, Charlie's resistance, Mateo's confession that he was the one to betray our visits. And the worst of all, of course, is that James would be watching us even more closely now. But seeing her will be impossible. This is my fault. You wouldn't be in such trouble if you didn't have to look after me. This is not your fault. You're everything to me. It's just how it is. You're everything to me. I have to look after you. Seeing you is not an obligation. You're my family, Habiti. Visiting you makes me happy. It makes me happy too, but it doesn't have to get us into more trouble. I can start taking care of myself, making my own friends, and you can have more time for, oh, I don't know. Lainey's eyes light up. Charlie? Heat floods to my face. Eleni. Just thinking about it, you and Charlie running around the decks together, climbing ropes, exploring passageways. Your cheeks are all pink from the wind. All right. It's very funny, Helene. You've got a real talent for storytelling. But I'm just telling what you see. Or what I see. You must be looking at someone else, then. Deny all you want. With pleasure. We talk and laugh for a while longer until quiet falls. Helene curls up her knees on her corner of the bed. You're not gonna be lonely, I hope. I've got the Rohanas. And what about you? You're not alone up there, are you? I look at Helene's sad eyes and try to think about the rifts that could have been formed today. That already might be forming. Before I can answer, there's a knock on the cabin door. It's the steward. Time to go. May not see Helene again for a long while. Stay strong. Don't let anyone push you around down here, or they'll have to answer to me. Ma asalama adal. Be safe. The steward's hand is around my arm, gently pulling me out of the cabin, and taking the sight of my sister one last time before the door is shut between us. Well, thank you all for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Head down description below links to social media, Discord, and if you'd like to support me and my content. And without further ado, I'll catch you all on the next video. Remember to hit that bell icon if you're subscribed. And peace.